Thank
I
you
love
both.
my wife. I
That's
love
awesome.
my wife.
I can see
But
it.
hey, maybe I should have prayed to be a little shot.
Nah, you so good. Like,
yeah, Lord. Anyway.
So, guys, welcome to Refine and Refresh Podcast Talks. This is Refine and Refresh Talks. This is our second episode. So thank you for going along with us on this journey. And I'm super excited because I talked to this brother through a contact of mine, and it's been awesome to get to like talk to him and know him these past couple, I think a month now or so, something like that.
A month, yeah.
It's been really great. And so
Yes.
and what he does, what his wife does is amazing. And I think it's very imperative. And I don't know if y'all will, if you, whatever you take from it, it's going to be great. But I'm also intrigued to learn a whole bunch of stuff. And so from Diligent Workouts, we have Stan and Alicia Jackson, right?
Hey, good evening or good afternoon or good morning.
Whichever one it is.
Yeah, right.
And so Alicia and Stan, can you just let people know like a little bit about what you do, your background, and about Diligent Workouts?
Yeah, sure. So I like to start off with diligent is in the meaning of the context of diligent. It means effort. And how we got started, it was dealing with my health, of course, and wellness. I didn't know you and I had a conversation, but you might be hearing this for the first time. I was 300 pounds. I was diagnosed with sleep apnea. I had a lot of ills that I was dealing with from anxiety. And I was going through a trying time from relational wise, and then work was okay. But I did not know because I used to play sports. Long story short, I still was eating certain foods that I thought it was still burn off.
Yeah.
But as you go through a trying time, I use the food as my coping mechanism. And I end up, I grew up on like potato chips, hot pickles, annihilators, whatever, I'm showing my age right now. But I was eating all those foods, but I never did exercise as much as I was eating.
Yeah.
And what I end up doing is gaining that weight. Well, lo and behold, I had to make some changes. So I started going back to the gym. I partnered up with a couple of people. I started seeing some inches come off, then some pounds. And before you know, I started going twice a week or twice a day. In the week, I would go do strength training, cross training, then bike, cycling, or some type of aerobics class in the evening. And the weight would just start dropping, bro. And people thought, and because I was so excited about it, and it's like one of my niches, they thought that I was a personal trainer. Well, I already have a current business that I already have called Diligent LLC, which we are contract workers. So I just said, you know what? People would ask me, how much would you train me? How much would you charge me to train me? I'm like, I'm just coming to the gym, bro. I'm not a trainer. But they actually thought I was a trainer. So I started researching it and going online and getting some classes. And the gym that I was working out at was at the YMCA. And this was about 9 years ago. And I ended up turning around and said, well, wait a minute. If I can come to the gym and work out, and if I work for the gym, I can work out. I can come to the gym for free. So I applied. A couple of months later, they hired me, man. I started working the floor. I worked my way up to the ranks, became a personal trainer.
Wow.
Then I started using that information. They trained me to be a trainer. And with that information, I applied it and created, a couple of years later, created Diligent Workouts.
Legit.
And then I could go more into it, but that's how we got started. Then 3-4 years ago, I met my lovely wife, and she joined in with me. And now we actually doing it together as co-partners.
Legit. Were you going to say something, Alicia?
No, I was just to say this is how Diligent Workouts was born. And then God was working with me as my eating habits and working out more. And so, and then I think I shared with you previously, me being a PK and seeing pastors and seeing how their health, deteriorated as they got older, or they started having heart attacks at such a young age. That started being like a heaviness on my heart.
Yeah.
And seeing the way my dad and his health is currently, that started to be a passion for me. We've got to do something different as a people, as a body of Christ, as people, period. So So that morphed into a passion for me as well. So then I met him.
What I love about what I love about the duality of this is because she comes from, like you said, from a different area from the church world, and I'm also a Christian and come from the church world. But we are so adapted to see people a certain way. We just focus on the spiritual part and master that, but we don't master the whole man, the mind, the body, and the soul.
Yeah.
So that's where we are right there. And when he was working on her and preparing her for me, you don't see a whole lot of couples in real life that try to work together and dealing with health.
Yeah.
You know, you have one stronger than the other, but when both of them come together and have the same mindset, it's much more easier because I can come home and I don't have to battle with her and try to eat healthier when she can, like, you know, you need to eat your meat and potatoes. You a man. You need to eat more bread. And not saying anything wrong with those things, but you know, you have to know what you're eating and why you're eating it, because food is food, but it's not the right type of good food for you and your body.
Right.
It's a difference, because how you was raised is not really what your body needs. Okay.
That's a whole nother,
Oh no, but now let me just say this.
I'm processing it.
Now I'm a vegan. Not saying I was never been a carnivore, but I'm a vegan. I'm a vegan for 7 years. She's been a vegan for
3 years.
3 years.
Okay.
Now that's good. You could go back to Adam and Eve with the eating the fruits and the whole nine before the fall and so on and so forth. But the thing is, when you do eat the meats, make sure they form raised. Like, you know, gonna be grass fed or farm raised. The same thing. Farm raised, because before, I mean, in the early 1900s and before, everything was agricultural. You know, now it's manufactured.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't know where their meat's coming from. Yeah. It looks the same, smell the same, cook the same, but it's not the same food, because even when they feed the animals are not out there eating and grazing, because they say, well, you are what you eat. It's not grazing. They actually giving it injections now to make it bigger. Then they take it to a slaughterhouse, chop it up, put it in the freezer for 6 months, and then they sell it to us or to you or whoever eats it, right?
So, because I was on a website and I looked, and I love the mission statement, and it talked about creating a holistic system that works for the our well-being. And so, and I think what you're saying is a part of like that being holistically well. What does like holistically well even mean? What does that whole term of being holistically well mean? Because I know you just hit on like what we ingest, what we eat and stuff like that. I know like there's working out, but like what else is there to be holistically well?
You want to tackle that or should I?
Oh my goodness. Holistically is taking care of all aspects of yourself, all part of your being, your mind, your body, and your spirit man. Number one being your spirit man, because we are a spirit. And having a relationship with God is the most important. You have to have that foundation. Yeah. But then God begins to work on the inner man. And there's things that you can do as far as maintaining your stress level the best possible way that you can. Having an outlet. You know, we pray and we fast, but sometimes we have to also breathe. We have to walk, time alone. Having an outlet is a mental aspect of your life. Reading is important as well. And then being mindful of what you put into your body. And what you put into your body is important because it affects the entire man.
The whole being.
It affects the entire person. And working out and taking care of your body, you know, we have to do what we can do by faith, and then allow God to do what he does. And he has to be able to trust us that we're going to be good stewards, whether it's over our bodies, our mind, our spirit man, or our finances, over our homes, our children, our whatever the case may be, whatever he has us over managing, that's what we have to be able to take care of. So when we say holistic, we're talking about the total man, knowing how to be good stewards, being mindful of the things that we eat, we don't have to necessarily, you can eat meat, like he said, just be mindful of how much you're eating, the time of day that you're eating, and the type of meats that you're eating. Because grass fed is so important. I can't stress that enough.
About strategy, it's kind of like a minute or two when I created that, and God gave that to me. About the whole man. Of course, when she said the triune of a being, that's who we are. We are triune beings.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times people are mastering one area of the three-legged table. Okay.
Yeah.
No balance.
And you have to have that balance. And if you actually going to be of a God-sent person, or we trying to emulate God or the DNA of God, then we have to have some mastery in some of these areas.
Yeah.
A lot of people are being miseducated how to live in general. We just waking up every day, going to do what we trained to do, but there's a purpose behind the purpose, if that makes sense. As one of my mentors would say, which I don't know if you heard of Miles Monroe, even if you work a 9 to 5, your 9 to 5 is employment, but after you work from your 9 to 5, which is your home and everything, is deployment. Does that make sense? You have to be deployed like an eagle. Is an eagle a bird? You don't tell a bird, how to fly. He just do it.
Yeah.
This is in his DNA. How a lion roars, he just do it, his instincts. Well, what about our instincts of who we are as human beings? And what does being mean? Being what? And that's the important part. The fall from Adam and Eve was to get us from our natural being to something else being like God. And that's what sin comes in at. So when you ask about the whole man, we have to re-educate ourselves instead of looking at the symptoms alone. We got to get to the root of the problem and redevelop and restructure who's meant to be versus somebody else's ideas or ideologies, what they think we could be, because it becomes a slave instead of being free. Does it make sense?
Gotcha.
And that's where God comes in, and having that foundation and studying His Word and allowing Him to minister to you and to show you who you are and your purpose. And having that foundation is just the beginning steps. It's just the beginning steps.
So, okay. Gotcha. So the reading the word is excellent, and that's the spiritual food.
Yeah.
But then when you take that word in the Bible, the shadows of the how the people live, like the Daniel fast, that's one of them, how he was disciplined. That's what a disciple is a discipline.
What is the Daniel fast for people who wouldn't know?
With the fruits, they didn't have no meat.
It was all fruits and vegetables.
Gotcha.
That's what the Daniel fast is, and you add water.
Going back off to what you were talking about previously, what would you say for somebody who is? Because I love like the whole thing of being holistically well, but what would you say how can that apply practically for someone who, let's say, has a physical condition where they have a loss of some type of movement? How can that person continue to be physically or holistically well?
Right. So now that's a good question, but it's a broad question because it challenges. Everybody have different challenges. And for example, some could be wheelchair bound, and another person could have arthritis in his left or right knee, or an elbow or shoulder problem. And that can be due to a sport injury or just something that they just stressed out about that kind of created the problem. So if he or she has a sport injury, first of all, you got to let that heal. And you have to have low impact workouts. So that's where physical therapy comes in at. But they have been undisciplined in their bodies and they caught up with them, then he or she needs to start taking walks, start being disciplined in those areas. After he or she began to do walks around the block, maybe a half a mile or a mile if he or she could do it. And then he or she needs to start doing some weightlifting training. Where now, since things have changed from this corona, you can go online right now and see different people exercising. And just for 5 minutes only, just start working on your mobility with the hand weights and just move your natural joints. Our body was never meant to be complacent. It was meant to be moving around. And you have to create and build muscle to be strong in your body. That's the external part. But I'm sure we're going to start talking about the internal part, because the internal part is the eating part.
Yeah.
Okay. But so that's my take on what he or she needs to do. What do you have to say?
But, as someone who is wheelchair bound, my dad is wheelchair. He's in the wheelchair. And so some of the things that he does is we put on music and he just automatically moves what he can move. Whether it's his arms or he can move his legs, whatever you can move, I recommend that you move. If you could just wave your hand, just move your hands. I mean, something is better than nothing. Yeah. Just a constant moving, and then you can still control what you eat. Yeah. You can still modify what you eat. You can still be conscious of what you think about. It's so important to cover your eye gate and your ear gate, because what your mind thinks, your body feels. So if you begin to meditate on the word day and night, or think about things that are lovely, that are honest, that are pure, that begins to affect the mind and the body. So if you're limited on mobility, this right here is so powerful. The mind is so powerful. So if you can focus on thinking on things that are positive, it will affect your body as a whole.
Legit. That's good stuff. So my wife actually has some questions.
Is she near you?
No, she's not. She's back there doing. I think she's in the bed right now because she's in her 3rd trimester of being pregnant.
Oh, congrats! All right.
So she sent me some questions. How different should a workout look for a woman, or is there a difference?
Is there for a woman or for a pregnant woman? Because I trained,
just a woman. Just okay.
All right. Because there's a difference. All right, yeah.
Actually, it shouldn't look any different. It just depends on the woman and the level that woman is on. That's one of the beautiful things. One of the things I love about my husband is that he trains boot camp, and we have all levels of women, all types of women. We have women that are like 300 pounds all the way up to 115. So he's able to work all of them out at their level. He throws the exercise out there, and then he tells us what to do, but we each do it to our level, to our degree of our strength and our ability. And each time we go to him, it would get stronger and stronger. So it all depends on the level in which the woman is on, in which a workout is going to be done. But as far as the types of exercises, they are the same. Whether it's a man or it's a woman, they are the same. And it also depends on the goal of the woman too. If she just wants to work on her core area, that's what the focus is going to be on. Exercises that just works on that core. If she wants to do some lifting and some toning and some tightening, that's what the exercises are going to be about. So if she wants steady or strength in her arms, guess what? The workouts are going to intensify for her to get that route. Gotcha. So that depends on what the goal is too.
Yeah.
Legit.
That is important. So if I had to put a take on that, basically, of course, it all depends what her objectives are.
Yeah.
The first thing, the thing is be consistent with a plan and stick with that plan. Yeah. Even if she passes or fails, stick with it.
Yeah.
Then if she fails or succeed, reevaluate that plan to see if she could continue to add to it or start all over to see what she didn't do as right and keep going until she hits that goal.
Yes.
Gotcha. Awesome. Thanks. And the other question was, how important is the pairing of diet and exercise in making a healthy lifestyle choice? And I guess the second part of that question is, and what minimal adjustments can one make to effectively better their life in the long run?
Minimal adjustments.
She said minimal.
Minimal adjustments. Tell her we caught that. Ain't no minimal adjustment.
She said minimal.
Ain't no minimal. Minimal adjustments.
Okay, minimal. All right.
No, let's go back. Let's be political about this. Could you repeat the
question? Let's do the first question. The first part of that question first.
Yeah.
How important is the pairing of diet and exercise in making a healthy lifestyle choice?
Gotcha. Okay. All right. You want to answer that? Because how healthy it is?
How important is it?
How important? Yeah.
how's important is life to you. It's life.
Yeah.
It's a life-changing experience. It's how we've designed to be. It's how we've designed to be. Notice the things that we eat now. Is it really what we're supposed to eat, or is it something that we enjoy eating? How important is it to live the next 50 years? So that's what I know. It's kind of extreme, but my question with the question is, it's a question. How important is to you if you trying to run a half a marathon or doing something that you want to do with the new kids coming, or just in general, for you to actually be able to maintain on the highest level that God gave you the ability to maintain it on? Because everything in life is stress, but you only have two types of stress. You have positive stress and you have negative stress. How well do you manage it? And in your management of your stress, you have to manage your eating. You have to manage your sleep. You have to manage your emotional status. You get what I'm saying? So how is it important to you to live your best life?
So it's very important.
Don't edit this one.
Putting it simple. I mean, and my husband is so deep because he loves to read, and he has so much knowledge. And the Bible completely talks about my people perish for the lack of knowledge. And if we would just take the time to read and understand the information and learn about our bodies, we worship God in every area of our lives. We at least try to. And people don't understand that eating healthy could be a form of worship too. We can give glory to God in the way that we eat, because guess what? We're taking care of this temple.
But I like the way she said that, because when people eat, not to interrupt you, I think that's powerful, because notice what you said. Eating is a form of worship. What worship, how's that your God when you eat the cheeseburger and the hamburger? Are you giving God his glory by eating the poor foods, or you worshiping the taste, or you worshiping the temple as for giving it what it needs to worship God better? I love that, girl.
Okay.
I love that.
But
I love that.
If exercise didn't have value, I don't think that the Bible would have spoke up. Put the eating and the exercise and the spirit, all of it has to be one. So you have to be mindful of what you put your body, because you can't. A lot of us, we allow flesh to lead instead of our spirit to lead. And when flesh leads, we want to eat whatever flesh wants. Whether it's potato chips, whether it's soda, whether it's those cookies, the pop, whatever it is, that's what we want. That's what makes us feel better. Because I would eat when I'm bored. I would eat when I'm sad. I was emotional eater. Even though I haven't had a lot of pounds, but I can see myself after I turned 40, my weight wants to just hold on longer than it used to. So you just have to be mindful of the things that you allow to come into your mouth. I mean, eating healthy is very important. It is so important. And I'm not saying don't eat those things. You just have to be modest, be mindful of how much you eat, and modify how much you eat of it and how often you eat of it. And if you do that, you'll begin to see a difference in the way that you feel, because sugar brings inflammation. And if inflammation is in your body, then guess what? Your body is feeling drained. You're feeling pain. You're feeling fatigue. And that's not how God meant for us to be. There's processed sugar and there's natural sugar. And the natural sugar is what you find in fruits that has seeds. Fruits with seeds is what God created.
No GMO, right?
I know what you're talking about.
It's what God created for us. So the honey is what God created for us. So when you eat things of natural sugar, you'll see a total difference in the way your body functions.
And notice she said honey. Now, for those of what I told you, I'm vegan.
We're not the guy.
I'm 100% vegan. I'm not those vegans who say I eat meat every now and then.
No.
But I'm talking about I don't eat anything that had a face. All right,
Yeah.
it's plant-based.
Honey
Now,
does not have a
you're
face.
right. Honey came from, and they just made it up, and but it's therapeutic for the body. Just wanted to let you guys know that.
Honey has medicinal purposes. So, you know,
Wow.
so to answer your wife's question, it is very important. And it's very important that if you have the ability to meal prep and plan,
Mm-hmm.
and I recommend it highly that you do so, because life can get so busy and so hectic that you just grab what's convenient.
Yeah.
And oftentimes what's convenient is not healthy for you. It's not good for your body.
Right.
So I recommend meal prepping. Plan a week ahead if you can. Put freezer, you cook it on Sundays, put it in the freezer, bam, you have it, your lunch, you have your dinner, and it's done. And makes life a little bit more easier. And then you have time to, once the baby comes, take care of the baby.
Right.
And take care of the husband and the house all at the same time without having to try to rock your brain. What's convenient for me to cook right now? Let me just pick up a pizza.
Yeah.
Or pick up some Popeyes, or, you know, because we don't have a lot of time, but we have to try to figure out time management is so important.
Yeah.
What's the best way that we can take care of our bodies and our families at the same time without the stress, without the anxiety, and without the panic attacks? And that's trying our best to plan ahead.